first off, that was an incredible film. I'm sure all of us are in awe. It's truly incredible. Um, as someone who is pretty new to adulthood, this spoke so deeply to me, and I'm sure it can speak to so many people in so many different stages in life. I also think it spoke to how, as disabled people, we are intrinsically often on a different path than others. We often interact with society in different ways, but that path deserves like equal respect and could be equally beautiful. So that's what I took away from this film. Samuel, what do you want audiences to take away from this film?
My goal for the film is that people won't talk down to disabled people. I want everyone to know that disabled people demand respect and rights. And I want other young adults with disabilities to have the same opportunities that I've had for healthcare, inclusive education, college, assistive technology, jobs, making friends, advocacy, and independent living. I hope parents who will watch this film will see that they should include their kids in everything, like my family has done. And I hope schools and colleges who watch this film will commit to include disabled students alongside their non-disabled peers. All of my schools have been inclusive, and that made a big impact on my education, and led to my life now as a filmmaker. Our film will let people learn from disability role models about how to live a full life with a disability as they transition to adulthood. This film will help people understand how to talk to me and other people with communication challenges. Young people with disabilities who have seen the film so far have told me that they have the same questions as I do about dating, sex, moving out of their own family's home, how to respond when people talk down to them, work, and college. That means a lot to me.
Absolutely. I think that everything you're saying is so true, and it provides something so deep to the disabled community, but to wider communities to learn and how to respect and how to engage with the disabled community, which is so critical. We are so lucky to be in this beautiful space, but also this incredibly accessible space. I think this has been one of the most accessible events that I have ever been a part of. And unfortunately, creating truly accessible events within the film industry is still a major problem. So Dan, can you tell us more about this like incredibly innovative partnership between the DOC and ReelAbilities to make this screening as accessible as it is today?
Thanks, Isabel. I do want to just once again commend DOC NYC and ReelAbilities for this effort. And it was kind of months of planning, because originally when we were so honored to be part of this festival to DOC NYC, they had two venues downtown, which is, New York is not the most accessible place in the world. One venue, I believe, had 4 wheelchair spots, and one had maybe 5. A rough count of the people here tonight, I'm thinking there's 20 people using wheelchairs, right? And companions. So we basically said, this isn't going to work for us. And DOC NYC, to their credit, when we brought up the idea of partnering with ReelAbilities, and ReelAbilities, to their credit, said, we'll host this event, we'll co-partner, and everyone just went for it. And then we said, well, of course, and ReelAbilities said, of course, we're going to have CART, we're going to have ASL interpretation, we're going to provide hearing devices for audio description, we're going to have open captions. It was never even a question. So that's an incredible story, but this can't be a one-off thing. You can't just have one event accessible in a whole film festival, or for that matter, in a whole cultural mecca like New York City. We have to make sure that every event from the very beginning is thought through and say, how are we going to, accommodate and welcome a very diverse audience of people by abilities. So just, I guess I'll say finally, as Keith said in the film, a person's disability is really defined or limited by the gap between a person's abilities or disabilities and the environment in which they're expected to function. And tonight, with all these accommodations, that gap was very small.
Can you tell us about the obstacles you see for accessibility in film production and events, and how film teams like The Ride Ahead and other filmmakers that you have worked with in the field, for example, in films like Fire Through Dry Glass, are doing? What are they doing to make it through these barriers and to make the film space more accessible?
First off, in the narrative space, certainly is an attitude, gee, we can't hire people with disabilities because it's going to cost us more money. There's all these negative stereotypes that really are not true. And in and just try to get work. I've been really focused on trying to, advocate for entry level positions for folks that don't involve endurance or great dexterity. These things are very important. For me, I have found an organization called Forward Doc, which stands for Filmmakers with Disabilities Working in a Documentary. And we are over 1,000 members strong at this point, internationally. And we are grouped with disabled documentarians and our allies. And we are having a huge impact on film festival accessibility. And what Dan and Sam were able to pull off with DOC NYC is the best case scenario. Working with an organization that wants to get it right. Film festivals are the major places in which you do a lot of networking. You literally need these to be accessible to us, and to give foundations to the filmmakers that show up.
What do you want to see replacing the harmful tropes about disabled people?
So there are three main tropes for all disabled people, just in case people don't remember them. It's heal me, so like fix it quick. And then you can't love me because I'm disabled. You can. And then the third one is kill me. And kill me is a real one. It's $1 million. Baby, it's me before you. It's the idea that people's lives are better when we're gone. They loved us. It was fun, but way better when we're buried. And what I'd like to see replace it is what we're doing right now, what Samuel's doing, what I hope that I'm doing, which is creating really good content. And if that content centers disability, fantastic. It needs to be authentic stories told by disabled people. And if it sucks, we as a community need to stop elevating it, because there's two sides. Like, the idea that none of this stuff is accessible to any of us is huge. And I was talking to Samuel before we came here, and I said, I'm so impressed with what he did because I couldn't do it, because I got too frustrated with trying to create stuff in an accessible space, a very violent space, and an extraordinarily expensive space. So I find this incredibly, incredibly impressive. But the reality is, most houses have a disabled member. It's not even a third anymore. We're all f***ed up now in the head from everything that's happened really recently. So what I want to see is this. I want to see disabled people behind the scenes and in front of the scenes. I want stories that are told by us, and I want stories that are told, just to toot my own horn, like Shiny Misfits, my book, which are just general stories about people, because we have nothing in common. Even though we're all disabled, it's like, if you sit and look at this stage, you have a very diverse group of people sitting here. And I want us to realize that our art is good. It's not just inspirational. It's not just charity. I just want to say that also we need to be able to create stuff that's completely unapologetic and stop thinking, is this for a disabled audience or another audience? It's for everybody. It's either really good or it really sucks. If it's niche for your audience, that's good too. And we should be unapologetic about creating stuff that makes non-disabled identifying people feel left out. Not everything is for you. Okay. Leave it to the white man to upstage me.
So this film is very much centered around mentorship. So Keith, what role has mentorship played in your life?
My first mentor was when I was 13. Ken, he was an artist. Mentorship plays a big part in disability because you don't see us. And when you do see us, it's, oh my God, Maysoon, you're so brave. Oh my God, Sam, oh my God, you're so cute. That. But if you have a mentor, then your mentor can say to you, bruh, this is how you're going to have to move. If you want to date, this is how you're going to have to date. If you want to move through society, that even if you are a person with a disability, depending on where you are with your social status. If you have a mentor who can give you the world in a way that you never see, it's critically important, particularly for young girls with disability, particularly for young men with disability, particularly for kids of color. Because once you have a disability and you add an ethnicity to it, you get the double whammy. If you add a disability to it and a religious backdrop, you get a triple whammy. So mentorship is critically important. One is personally reaffirming to your humanity. And it also says something because some of the people that will kneecap you in your life can be the closest people to you. And if they are close to you, they don't see your potential, but your mentor can show you a world way beyond that. So mentorship is critically important, and music just gives you a funky ass soundtrack to do it.
Yes.
I have to say that as a 15-year-old going to Camp Jeanette, meeting Judy Human, and all of the disabled counselors I met there, and disabled young adults that were older than me. It was it had a huge impact on my life, and showed me that my life could be just a lot better than what I was experiencing. That in what limited capacity that I had to someone online, I try to remind people of art history. And I think art history is very important. And I think every community, you must look at their history in regards to see where we started and how far we have come. And to realize there's so much resilience in the disabled community, so many other communities. And I think the most important thing for us all to do is to come together. The disabled community must come together, but we must come together like we saw for the fight to pacify before Keith. This came in and helpless people sitting in, where that we have to really kind of find a way for the disabled community to really come back together to remind society and politicians that we are not disposable, we are not optional, and we are not going away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fight.
You got a big thumbs up from Samuel, if you couldn't see that, Jim.
Thank you, sir.
What do you hope people take away from your unique perspectives and your lived experiences in this film and through your own platform?
Well, disability is so white, right? So any images that we do see of disability, and we barely see any, but when we see them, it tends to be a lighter skinned person, also extraordinarily attractive, disabled people. Intersectionality. So I call the disability community the disco. Disco, it's the abbreviation for those of you who are not visual. And I call us the disco because we're the party. And when I talk to people about disability, disability does not discriminate, right? So you can join us at any time, regardless of race and religion, nationality, age, gender, who you love, economics, class, any of it, right? But we're sitting here in a room right now talking with so much hope, with so much hope about what we can do against a very terrifying fascist global environment that we're living in. But as I sit on the stage and I watch this movie, I'm so incredibly blessed that I was chosen to do this with Samuel, because I didn't really think much about the transition between young and old and how you drop off the cliff and stuff. And now I am the mentor, the disco queen of the largest mass disabling event in our friggin' modern history. So the future is actually disabled. And the ability to work with people like Samuel gives me so much hope that there is a future for these children, because between life and death, there's disability, and I promise you, death is not better than disability.
That's right.
And all I'll say is this. This here is a heart full of love. This is a room full of love. These are people who want everyone in this room to live, survive, and thrive. And I really want you to believe, that this can actually be our reality.
Pivoting to Sam, in The Ride Ahead, you are truly sharing your coming of age story. And the Ride Ahead team has done an incredible job of putting together resources to educate audiences about language, disability, ableism, like going to college with a disability. It's truly so many incredible resources for audience members because, unfortunately, despite the fact that 1 in 4 people in the United States are disabled, it is a true reality that a lot of people watching this film, this might be their first time seeing a truly accurate portrayal of a disabled lives,
Yeah.
and disabled lives beyond a monolith. So Samuel, how do you feel about the media portrayal of people with disabilities?
People with disabilities should have their voices heard and we should be able to tell our stories. I don't like that movies and stories about people with disabilities are often about curing or saving or even killing the person because they have disability. Or you will see someone with a disability have an awesome talent at something and people will be inspired and respond to the talent in a way they might not to someone that doesn't have a disability. We are not existing and living to be your inspiration.
So I'm hoping that what people will be able to take from this is that they can reflect on themselves and say, do I treat people with humanity? Do I connect? But you ain't got to like it. I don't like nobody.
Nobody.
Well, I like y'all. I
Nobody.
like y'all. I like y'all.
I don't
I like y'all. I like y'all. But the reality is that you're not just dealing with disability. You're dealing with racism, xenophobia, sexism, misogyny, classes. So if you understand that your disability falls somewhere on that scale, so I'm hoping that with this film, you'll see Sam as Sam with a big ass wheelchair, but it's still Sam, right? And it's Maysoon, it's Keith, it's Lydia, it's Jim, it's Betsy, it's the family. To see that we are all people, because I always find it interesting that the most brilliant people are dumb as hell when it comes to dealing with disability. And so I'm hoping that they will take their heads out of there and treat us with dignity and respect. Full stop.
Thanks everybody for coming. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So good to be with you.